you were last in the ring.
Yeah, it does. This training camp at times has felt like a long time. But we've crammed a lot in. You know, we had a great campaign out in the States. We had a month out there training, which was really refreshing. You know, both camps for the front fights were here in London, so it was lovely to get away, do some training, and then we've had a solid 6 weeks here, which is just about right for me. I like 5-6 weeks at home where, you know, your nutrition's sorted, because I know my way around Ocado and Whole Foods. My medical team's here, my gym's here, everything we need. So I've got to say thanks to Exagon, my sponsors, who just keep me up in a perfect gym. And you know, and then you've got your home comforts, you know, getting into your own bed, your own shower. It's pretty nice too. So that's been a while, but at the same time, no time at all.
Obviously, the last camp you were in was for a particularly special camp. How hard has it been to kind of get that intensity back for this fight, which, even though, like you say, it's a huge fight for you, but you know, it still hasn't got the same kind of aura around the Froch fight. How hard has it been to get that?
I mean, to be honest, it's been great for me to not have the intensity of the spotlight. You know, you have to revel in it and take it in my stride, and I enjoy every moment of it. But at the same time, you know, it can be tiring. It does certainly take energy. So this time round, it was nice to go back to a bit of normality. You know, with what is essentially still a massive fight. Motivation was going to come from the fact, do I want to still box? You know, do I still think I can do stuff? Do I still think I can plough on? And I do. You know, every morning I wake up, jump out of bed on the right foot, and you know, set about my day looking to improve, with the goal to achieve. It's always been positive thinkers here, good vibes, and that hasn't changed at all. So it's nice, you know. It's nice to be back training. It's nice to have such a big fight, you know. It's not broke records like the last fight. It's not against another Brit that everyone knows, but it's against a very good, solid opponent with an awful lot of upside, involved European title fight that I've never known, that I always have wanted to, and now we've got confirmation that it is the final eliminator for WBC. The winner becomes mandatory to fight Anthony Durrell for WBC. So I couldn't ask for anything more, you know, in terms of what could this fight represent. I'm extremely happy, extremely motivated, and more than anything, looking forward to getting back to Wembley and putting on a show, back in the ring, doing what I've always done, which is boxing, fighting, punching people, getting hit time to time, and you know, it's exciting.
That question of whether you wanted to box on, was that only something that you answered once you got back in the gym, got back in the rhythm of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know how you feel immediately after a fight, how you feel after a loss. This loss felt a lot different from the first loss. So, you know, it's a difficult time, a demoralising time, but then I've always been the sort of human being to try and go away and assess the situation as if it, you know, with no emotion, look at it for what it really is. And the fact is, we feel we were boxing well, we feel we belong at world level, I feel certainly that if I box Carl Froch again, I beat him. And everyone's like going to say you've had 2 fights, 2 losses, wind your neck in or whatever, but it hasn't dented my confidence, not in the slightest. So with all that in mind, do I still want to box? Of course I want to box, because having achieved a fraction of the goals I set out to achieve, I've still got an awful lot more to offer boxing, and you know, I still enjoy it. You know, I enjoy punching, I enjoy training. I haven't given myself any time to miss it and such, because we had a few days off, so I was back in the gym. But I know now, after the camp, 3-4 days out where we are now, all I want to do is fight, and that's like the most encouragement I think I could ever have, is that feeling in the pit of your stomach that you want to perform.
Just one final question for me. Tell us a little bit about sparring Gennady Golovkin. Does he really hit as hard as everyone says?
Yeah, he hits hard. He hits hard, certainly. Wouldn't give him any free shots, even that. But for a middleweight, you know, and I was a bit heavier than him at the time. You know, he certainly can pack a punch. I think he struggles for sparring partners, would be the best way to describe it. But a lovely guy. Punch power doesn't match his personality. Abel Sanchez is training. We trained in his gym, the Summit Gym out in Big Bear. Very welcoming, very accommodating, let us come in and do our thing, said you can have the gym whenever you want. Obviously Gennady was only a week or so away from fighting, so you know, when he was in the gym training, he said, well, he's not in, you can have the place to yourself. Fantastic place to be. I'd encourage any British boxer, if he can afford it or if he's got time to get out there just to experience it. I'd happily travel all that way just to run the hills and swim the lake, you know, it's that much of a magical place. Yeah, it was good fun to spar Gennady, and we're going to get out there and get plenty more of it next time. You know, we'll probably both be in the same timing of camp and be able to get even more around it.
George, you touched on it briefly about your time at Big Bear for this camp. How much of an advantage do you think that will be going into your career now, hard sparring with the likes of Gennady Golovkin?
Yeah, well, I think sparring in itself at that level is near on impossible to get at my stage of career, because I'm boxing for world titles. No one in the super middleweight division is really going to want to spar me anymore because they're worried we might box later on down the line. Gennady, I consider is one of the best pound for pound in the world right now, and he was, as I say, a week out from the fight. I was a week into training, so you know I was on the softer side, and he was lean and mean, and I more than held my own, of course, you know, and it's a nice feeling, of confidence, really. If it was needed, that you know, I just lost against a world champion, and then I'm in there sparring with a world champion.
Would you say that was important to get away somewhere like that, especially with the altitude training?
Yeah, definitely important. As I say, it's good for the soul sometimes to break up routine.
You left alone out there, George, left for your own devices?
Well, I was out there with Paddy, my boxing coach, my strength coach Dan Lawrence, and my conditioning coach Barry, and you know, between us, it was great fun. It was like a lad's holiday, except we don't like boozing, and now we was up at 5:30 running and eating egg white omelette. So, but you know, it was great. It was lovely. You know, to go somewhere and train where it's nice and warm and nice scenery, clean air, clean food, altitude training out there. You know, there's plenty of hills. There's plenty on offer. It's just great because it breaks up the monotony of training.
Changing subjects slightly, George, would you say we've been seeing the best of George Groves?
No. We've seen a fraction of what I'm capable of. I feel I'm getting better year on year. I think, you know, we certainly want to be a complete fighter. We talk about that a lot. We don't expect to be a complete fighter. We want to work towards that. We're working towards perfection. And there's certainly a lot that needs to be perfected. But we're improving camp on camp. We never really got the chance to hang our hat on anything because we've lost our last two fights, but that's down to me, not down to my team. And you know, in the bits in between, we were boxing really well. So you'll see improvements, and you know, once you get to the highest level, there have to be subtle improvements. Fighters change and adjust, you know, as they go on. Depending on who I'm boxing, will be depending on how I fight. But I think most people would agree that I can fight well enough on the back foot, on the front foot, I can punch, you know, I can box long range. We're working on our inside game, you know, so there's, you know, whatever is needed in a particular fight, we want to be able to, you know, turn to.
Yeah.
Have as many strings to our bow, as many tools in the toolbox, you know, as many cliches as we can fit in, that's what we want. And we as I say, working towards being a complete fighter.
And lastly, has that dented your confidence in any way, the fashion of the last fight?
No, 100% no. I'm supremely confident. I walk the tightrope of arrogance and ignorance, and that certainly hasn't changed. I got knocked out in my last fight, by what Carl has admitted is the best punch he's thrown in his career. I made a mistake on the wrong side of the line, tried to open up and hook. As I know, Carl Froch steps to the left when he throws a 1-2. He landed it right on the bottom. There's certainly a vulnerability at times when I'm boxing, but maybe that makes me a little bit endearing, who knows.
You're still only 26 years of age.
And I will improve, and I am improving, and you know, certainly the last fight was historic. It was a pressure cooker, 80,000 people at Wembley. You think about it, was it ever going to end in any other way than something that was unpredictable? If you look at the fight back at the time, no one said this is going to happen. There wasn't a change in the tide. It wasn't down to poor conditioning or poor tactics or anything like that on my part. It was, you know, a one punch mistake, which probably is the most frustrating thing I'll ever come across, and hope to come across. I don't want that to happen again. So in the meantime, everyone gets hit from time to time. We're just going to try and get hit as less as possible.
What's it going to be like going back out at Wembley, and especially on Friday at Wembley Stadium for the weigh-in?
Yeah, great. I've been to Wembley Stadium lately. I watched the football. That wasn't so great, but the stadium itself is fantastic. Wembley's close to home. You know, I'll be staying at home the whole camp, which is nice. I ain't got to live out a hotel. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. And Wembley Arena, where the fight's taking place, is a happy hunting ground for me. I've been very successful there. One of my best wins was the defence of a British title against Paul Smith. So, you know, that was a few years ago now, but we're looking to go back and have a just as explosive performance on Saturday night. And yeah, everyone who's down there, everyone who tunes in, I'm sure they'll be pleased with the result.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.